Once upon a time, there was a woman named Valeria and her husband, Antonio. They had just bought a home in Xochimilco and found that they were having a baby. They were happy and excited to begin this journey in their new home and with their new family, until one day Antonio received an email. It read,
Aviso vecinos de Xochimilco del 31 de octubre al 3 de noviembre. El sistema Cutzamala entrará en mantenimiento, por lo que el abasto de agua se verá afectado en la Ciudad de México, restableciéndose el servicio en su totalidad el 6 de noviembre. Toma precauciones. Aunque SACMEX afirme que el megacorte no impactará a Xochimilco, ya estamos sufriendo desabasto.
Notice, neighbors of Xochimilco, from October 31st to November 3rd, the Cutzamala system will go into maintenance, so the water supply will be affected in Mexico City. The service will be fully restored on November 6th. Take precautions. Although SACMEX affirms that the mega cut will not impact Xochimilco, we are already suffering shortages. He read this aloud to Valeria, and because of this, she became anxious. She had heard stories about water being cut off and not turned back on. Parts of the city were already reliant on PIPAs. How would she keep herself while pregnant and their baby safe if they didn't have clean water? Because of this fear, she and Antonio began filling every vessel that they had, just in case the water did stop running, and one day it did. They used their water carefully, cleaning only what was necessary, and bought bottled water to drink when they could. The water trucks began stops at a point in the neighborhood, but were always running out of water with people still in line. Water trickled from the taps twice a week in the middle of the night, and Valeria and Antonio would not sleep, collecting whatever they could, though the water smelled of gasoline. Talks began rumbling through the neighborhood of Day Zero, and the fear within Valeria grew, until one day they could not take it any longer. She and Antonio had decided that they had to leave, and with tears in their eyes, they collected what they could of their belongings into their single car and left their home abandoned. If there is no water, there is no way to live. Though this story is fictitious, it represents the real struggles of the people. Think of your own story. What would you do without reliable access to water? It is stories that I hope you will keep in mind as we make our call for actionable solutions today. At IMTA, we believe in solutions that utilize the best and most innovative technologies. Keeping in mind the stories of those we affect, we are proud to bring you a solution today that will help absorb air pollution, reduce urban heat island effect, clean waters of contaminants, provide habitat and improve biodiversity in the city, promote mental wellness among the citizens, enhance the beauty of Mexico City, mitigate and reduce the impacts of flooding, avoid worsening subsidence, and address the issue that is the most immediate threat to Mexico City today, water scarcity. By borrowing from two existing solutions, China's sponge cities and California's groundwater recharge plan, we have devised a solution utilizing green zones that are intentionally flooded during mild to moderate rainfall by diverting water from the Desagüe system and can act as sponges or sinks during heavy rainfall and flooding. Mexico City experiences heavy rainfall during the summer months, during which time nearly all of the storm water runs off the concrete city streets into the Desagüe system of drains and canals, where they mix with sewage and industrial wastes, and then are discharged out of the city into the Mezquital Valley. This water irrigates the Mezquital Valley's farm fields, which are used for animal feed, and has created an aquifer below the valley. This transfer of water is largely to blame for today's issues in Mexico City. Though the water is not safe for human consumption when it arrives in the Mezquital Valley, it filters through the roots and soils of the farm fields, and clean potable water is deposited in the aquifer below. But imagine if the rainwater was never diverted from the city and never combined with industrial waste and sewage, and instead could be filtered through the city's own soil and root systems to refill the aquifer below Mexico City. This is the concept that we are bringing to you today, which we are calling sponge gardens. These gardens can be methodically placed around the city to best mitigate flooding and efficiently recharge the aquifer, all while providing the benefits previously mentioned in the previous slide.
The way sponge gardens work are very interesting. Basically, they use rainfall absorption, which then recharges groundwater, and by doing this, the stored water in the sponge garden gradually seeps into the ground, which replenishes the local groundwater supply and helps to maintain aquifer levels. Once this has been completed, it reduces surface runoff because by absorbing rainfall, sponge gardens minimize the amount of water that flows across the surface. And through this, we can help with drought resilience because the stored groundwater can be accessed during dry periods, providing a reliable source of water to support vegetation and agricultural activities. IMTA believes that sponge gardens will be very beneficial to Mexico City because it will help with flood mitigation, groundwater recharge, as well as urban cooling. The sponge gardens offer a multifaceted solution to address urban water management challenges, provide flood protection, groundwater replenishment, and urban cooling benefits to create more resilient and sustainable communities for the people of Mexico City. China has been at the forefront of implementing water sponge technology. They have transformed several cities into sponge cities, resulting in improved water resilience, reduced urban flooding, and enhanced water quality. The success of this initiative in China serves as a compelling model for us to follow. By adopting similar technologies, Mexico City can address its own water challenges effectively. Below, I have put 3 cities that have implemented sponge gardens in China. As you may all know, Mexico City faces critical water management issues, including frequent flooding during the rainy season and severe water shortages in the dry season. Water sponges offer a holistic solution by capturing rainwater, reducing flood risks, and replenishing groundwater reserves. This sustainable approach aligns with our environmental goals and helps us create a more resilient urban infrastructure. Water sponges promote social justice by ensuring equitable access to water resources. Vulnerable communities, often disproportionately affected by water scarcity and flooding, will benefit significantly from a more stable water supply and improved living conditions. This initiative supports our commitment to fairness and equality for all residents. The environmental benefits of water sponges are equally significant. They contribute to groundwater recharge, help maintain natural water cycles, and support biodiversity by creating urban green spaces. This approach aligns with our efforts to combat climate change and preserve the natural environment for future generations. Some sustainability benefits that we will see from water sponges are groundwater recharge, filtration and purification, reduced water stress, improved ecosystem health, as well as cost-effective solutions. When we improve water management, it has direct health benefits. By reducing stagnant water and mitigating flood risks, we can lower the incidence of waterborne diseases. Additionally, green spaces associated with water sponge gardens contribute to better air quality and provide opportunities for physical activity, as well as promoting overall public health. When we implement sponge gardens, we are able to provide clean and abundant water access, which is crucial for improving both mental and physical health outcomes in communities like Mexico City. IMTA wants to partner with Balsas River Basin Council because this River Basin Council was set to see irrigation needs, flood control, and hydropower generation in the Balsa River area. We'd also like to partner with the Fondo Mexicano para la Conservación de la Naturaleza because it is a leading conservation organization in Mexico that preserves biodiversity and promotes sustainable development. By partnering with these stakeholders, we will be able to implement the below process to make sure that these sponge gardens are effectively implemented through Mexico City. Once this is completed, we will be able to implement a comprehensive and monitoring maintenance program to ensure the long-term effectiveness of the water sponge gardens, including regular inspections and necessary repairs or replacements.